Today we're unveiling 5 mobsters whose brutal hits left an indelible mark on history. Our voyage commences with the rise of Big Jim Colosimo, head of the Chicago crime syndicate. His rise to power was marked by his infamous hits. Colosimo was believed to be behind some of the most notorious mob hits, such as the Red Light District Massacre and the infamous Black Hand murders. The Red Light Massacre resulted in the elimination of an entire rival gang, solidifying Colosimo's control over Chicago's underworld. The Black Hand murders, on the other hand, a series of hits that targeted police officers who refused to be bought. These hits sent shockwaves through the city, instilling fear and respect for Colosimo. However, his downfall was equally notorious, a result of his violent tactics backfiring. His once loyal members, fearing their own safety, turned against him, marking the end of his reign. Moving forward, we introduce the formidable O Banyon, the undisputed master of the North Side Gang. His ascension to power is a story in itself, marked by notorious hits that sent shockwaves through the underworld. Each hit was chillingly precise, a gruesome testament to his brutal leadership. The infamous Seaburn Brewery hit still echoes in Chicago's history, a daring daylight assault that wiped out a rival faction. Then there was the highly publicized assassination of Angelo Jenna, a bloody affair that sparked a gang war ravaging the streets of Chicago for years. And let's not forget the audacious Four Deuces Club ambush, a chilling reminder of O Banyon's merciless ways. These hits were more than mere acts of violence. They were strategic moves, reshaping the city's criminal landscape to favor the North Side Gang. However, O Banyon's reign of terror came to a bitter end with his shocking murder, a captivating narrative of power, treachery, and the inevitable downfall. Next, we plunge into the intriguing life of Haime Weiss, the man who assumed the reins of the North Side Gang after the ruthless murder of O Banyon. His reign was marked by some of the most notorious mob hits, each meticulously planned and executed. One such hit was the famous Valentine's Day Massacre. It was an ambush during the Prohibition era that resulted in the brutal murder of 7 members of Chicago's North Side Gang. This audacious act rocked the city, turning public opinion against the mob. Another striking hit was the attempted assassination of his arch-rival Al Capone, which sadly failed. Weiss's downfall, however, was as savage as his reign. A brutal end that was the consequence of the relentless gang violence and power struggles that eventually consumed him. Our journey propels us further into the relentless world of Frankie Yale, a significant figure in Brooklyn's underworld. His ascendancy to power, symbolized by the infamous hits that he masterminded, casts a chilling shadow on the grim realities of organized crime. Each hit, meticulously planned and ruthlessly executed, was a terrifying display of his cold-blooded authority. One such hit was the notorious barbershop slaying. A seemingly mundane setting turned into a scene straight from a gangster film as Yale's rivals were methodically ambushed. These hits not only solidified Yale's grip on Brooklyn's underworld, but also sent waves of terror through the city, forcing rival gangs to either submit or retaliate, consequently igniting a vicious cycle of violence. Frankie Yale's ultimate assassination itself, in the end, was a violent reminder of the unyielding law of the underworld. Live by the sword, die by the sword. His life and death, thus, stand as a stark testament to the brutal reality of organized crime. Lastly, we come to the notorious figure of Salvatore Maranzano. His rise to power was marked by ruthless ambition and brutal hits that sent tremors through the streets. His hits were not just acts of violence, they were carefully designed power moves. They weren't sloppy, they were swift and decisive, executed with the cold precision of a chess player, removing his opponent's pieces. One of the most notable hits was the merciless takedown of rival gang leader Joey the Hammer DiMaggio. Maranzano, in one fell swoop, removed his fiercest competitor and seized control of the lucrative rum-running routes. The death of the Hammer resulted in a bloody power struggle, a wave of violence that washed over the city, leaving behind a trail of death and devastation. Yet it was his eventual assassination that marked a significant shift in the power dynamics of the mob. His death signaled the beginning of a new era, one where old loyalties were forgotten and new alliances were forged in blood and betrayal.